Every filmmaker, YouTuber, content creator wants to get you to feel something. It's part of the artistic process. The outpouring support for the Sturgis Doesn't Care film has been unbelievable, surreal. I mean, I can't come up with enough words to say thank you. Thank you to everybody that helped push this video out. All the comments that I received, and it's just been absolutely awesome. It's my hopes that this video inspires others to also create content that they want to make and hit record maybe on a project that they've been holding back on and telling their stories. Coming up with the concept for this video actually didn't really happen until probably day 5 or 6 of the motorcycle rally. I knew I wanted to create a project that was a little bit different than the years before. I didn't want to create a 7-part series. I want to do something that just kind of was different than the year before. And once this concept kind of entered my brain, it kind of grew legs of its own. And I already had 5 or 6 days of footage. And once I had that concept in my mind, it really it made things a lot easier for this project. The camera gear I used for this project is a Nikon Z6 Mark I and a Nikon Z6 Mark II. The drone I was using was a DJI Mavic Air 2, and then I used GoPros 4, 8, and 9. And I think it's really important to have all those different cameras working in order to tell this story properly. One of the questions I was asked was how was I able to do those drone shots, and am I a licensed pilot? And yes, I am a Part 107 licensed pilot. I do believe that having the Part 107, being responsible in flying the drone, making sure I'm in a legal place to fly, and make sure I'm abiding by all those rules. It was difficult. I mean, there was many times we had to stop, pull over, and realize that we're in a restricted airspace. So we would just have to move down the road and try to find another spot. So it was crucial to keep making those stops, and it did take a little bit of time. And people ask if the filming of this project took away from my Sturgis experience, and it really didn't. I'm extremely fortunate that the wife is so supportive. She would allow me to stop anytime I needed to make sure I captured all the shots that I had kind of in my head. This film wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the help of Lindsay, the wife. 50% of this film was shot by her hand and by her vision and her eye, and I just can't thank her enough. When I'm filming for anything, I'm really editing in my head as I go along. I kind of have an idea of a tempo of a song and things like that. So in my process, as soon as that concept was created, I kind of started establishing all my shots to putting it together for this particular film. So the name in itself, I mean, I can't tell you the exact moment that I came up with the name, but as soon as I said it out loud, I mean, I knew that's what the name of this film was going to be. And to answer a couple of the questions out there, yes, I do know that Sturgis cares, and that's kind of the hidden meaning behind this. But the film in itself is about Sturgis not caring what your background is. They care that you're there, right? They want you to be there. And that was something that I knew I could encompass with the title of this film. And some people clicked on it that thought that it was going to be a bashing of Sturgis. And they let me know their disappointment that the title didn't quite match up. But it just happened to be that title fit perfectly for just the concept that I had in my mind. So I'm not sure exactly when it was, but as soon as that name came out of my mouth, I knew it was going to stick, and that's what I was going to use. The edit in itself took me 42 hours of actual editing time to get this 8-minute film out there. And that includes everything from importing all the footage, finding the clips that I was going to use, searching for music, sound effects, and exporting a complete project. I really wanted to be meticulous in my color grading and color correction, using all those different manufacturer cameras so that it would kind of flow together and it wouldn't look out of place. So I really wanted to take my time with that. And it came with some frustrations and some long nights and sometimes some sleepless nights. The music in itself is so important, and the sound effects are so important to me for this film that I probably listened to over 500 songs before I found just a couple I was going to use. And that along with the sound effects. In the beginning scene, you have this moment where you're coming out of the woods and the Black Hills is kind of levitating you up. And I remember filming this, and it took us about 50 minutes of drone footage. But I wanted to capture the perfect shot for this opening scene. And it was one of those things where we were the only ones in this area, and I could hear the sounds of nature, and I could, if I could portray the smell, I definitely would. But it was one of those things I had to remember so that putting this together, I can go back and try to best represent, the sounds that I was hearing, almost like you're actually there coming out of the woods and seeing Mount Rushmore in the distance. So all those, obviously a drone does not shoot audio. So all those sounds I had to kind of recreate through different sound effects, and there's multi-layers of sound effects there too, to give you the feeling of what it was like to be there in the woods at that particular time. During this project, there was actually something that happened that I wish I would have learned a long time ago, and that is, if it's not working, just get rid of it. There was an entire section of this short film that was removed late during the editing process. And ironically, it's the section that I spent the most time on, and it just didn't flow with the film. So after 2 sleepless nights, pretty much, I finally decided to scrap that entire section. And the moment that I did, this film immediately came together and started flowing the way that I had it in my brain. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just gotta scrap a good project or a good sequence just to make sure that you're portraying that right message. During the final export of this film, when I knew it was complete, and I had watched it so many times, and of course, as creators, we can pick anything apart, but eventually you just got to let it go. The final project, coming out, getting it prepped and ready to go, and doing my first premiere for YouTube, it was exciting, but I will tell you, I was nervous the entire time. And maybe that's a good thing, but I wanted it to do well, and I wanted it to be perceived by even locals in Sturgis well, and in the Black Hills, people that live in South Dakota. I wanted it to be perceived by them as much as it means to the rest of us. And there were so many comments that came out about them being locals and really appreciating that film, and those things, and those comments mean the world. As far as settings are concerned, pretty much everything that I shot this in was in a flat picture profile. For those that are using GoPros and trying to figure it out, if you're not going to do color grading, you don't really need to worry about it. You can use the GoPro color, just kind of turn down that saturation and contrast, and you'll be okay. But for me, in this project, everything was done in a flat picture profile. mainly because I wanted to do the color correction and using so many different brands of cameras. They all kind of perceive colors a little bit differently, and I wanted to get that to flow together. And being new in color correction and starting to enjoy that process, it just made that film that much better and meaningful to me. To go in and kind of find that color and that feel with that flat profile, it is just one of those things that really helped. Some of my favorite moments captured during this film might actually surprise you a bit. Of course, the drone footage and the drone shots, you can't really tell in camera what that shot is going to be. But when I took a look at the footage during the editing process, I just knew there was something special there with the drone shots. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite shots in this film is towards the end. And it was actually shot on a GoPro. And it's Ashley and Michelle laughing together with the American flag kind of in between them in the background. And lights from vehicles and motorcycles are lighting up this American flag. And it's just it was a raw moment, and one that I'm just so thankful I had something there to capture it with. And so it kind of shows you that it doesn't really matter if it's on a red camera or a GoPro. Capturing those moments can mean the world to a film. And for me, every single time I look at that shot, it's just it says something. There's another shot in the beginning of the film where there's a man standing on Main Street and he's got this Viking hat on, and he was out there for quite a bit of time. And there's just a moment, there's a connection that you have with this person that for some reason I'm drawn to it. And I knew when I saw that during post-production and going through all the different clips, I knew that was going to be one that I had to use. So that's another one of my favorite shots. Ultimately, when it comes down to the drone shots, at the end of the film, there's a single rider by himself, and it's kind of towards sunset. And you just kind of get that feel of after having maybe a full day of riding in Sturgis, and it's getting close to sunset, and there they are by themselves. That being followed up with the final drone shot where you have the group of riders with the drone following, and all of a sudden the drone kind of stops and those riders fade kind of out of frame. Those were just like key moments for me. I'd be very curious what were the moments for you. You can leave a comment down below. I read every single message. I read every single comment. So I try to get back to every single one of them. So I'd be curious to see what were your favorite shots, maybe some that stuck out to you. One of the questions I get asked is if this is going to be the kind of the new form of where this channel is going to go, and the answer is no. As much as I loved making this film, I'm still going to be doing just the regular motovlogging stuff and the cinevlogs and different events and live streams. It's just something that I'm going to be doing from time to time on this channel and kind of just adding it in to what this channel already is. And I still absolutely enjoy doing the motovlogs and covering different events and bringing, small cinematic sequences along the way. But it's going to be fun for the next project and the next short film, or who knows if this leads to maybe a full-length documentary. But I'm excited to see kind of where this channel goes as it continues to grow. For those that are new to this channel, I definitely enjoy sharing the things that I know about filming and editing, and I'm going to continue to do that and hopefully help others jump into this community and help them to create one of their dream projects. So I really truly hope that this film inspires people to go film and just hit record on that project that they want to do. And I just can't thank everybody enough for this. The success of Sturgis Doesn't Care is because of you. I will be forever grateful to all of you that helped push this out there, and it motivates me to do it even bigger and better the next time around. So thank you all for that. If you're new to this channel, I'd appreciate it if you subscribe down below. As always, if you guys have questions, I try to go through every single comment, and I would just love to hear your thoughts. But that's going to do it. I just needed to thank you all so much for the support for this film. I hope it continues to grow and inspires people to not only film, but to get out to the Black Hills and experience what we all love and enjoy. So until next time, y'all ride safe, be safe, and we'll catch you on the next one.